The principles of perception. These include detectability, which is the measuring of detection. How much of a stimulus can I sense? The more intense the stimulus, the more likely it can be detected. Detection, or absolute threshold, is the intensity required for detecting a stimulus. The lower the threshold increases selectivity to detection. Sensitivity is the opposite to threshold. It is an inverse of threshold. If there is a high threshold, then there is low sensitivity. Sensory magnitude is the measuring of perceived intensity, how loud, how bright, etc. The more intense the stimulus, the higher magnitude of sensation. The higher objective stimulation, the higher the subjective, or the psychophysical perception. A measure of magnitude estimation is conveyed in modules and could be logarithmic. Participants rate various stimuli differing in intensity. Sensory magnitude has a compressive nonlinear function, relying on a logarithmic relationship that doesn't apply for electric shock. For example, if you double the intensity, the sensation is less than double. Discrimination. Telling things apart. Discrimination is the ability to tell things apart and include two different ideas of accuracy and precision. Discrimination threshold is the difference between two stimuli required for successive discrimination. This is sometimes just called the just noticeable difference, in which you have a low threshold if you can easily tell them apart, and a high threshold if it's much harder to tell them apart. Lower thresholds are better at discriminating, like for example how different in brightness two circles are, or how far apart are they. This relates to precision. Precision is the idea or the degree to which repeated measurements will show same/similar results. There's a thing called bias, which bias is how much darker do we have to make so that both circles look the same, is called the point of subjective equality. This measures accuracy, which is the degree of conformity of a measured quantity to the true value. Which in contrast to precision, precision is merely just the repeated measurements that will show same, is just repetition. How precise you are is how repetitive you can be. There is also the idea of adaptation in perception, in which we can change our perception by seeing or sensing or whatever, sensing the same thing over and over again. Prolonged stimulation results in a decrease in the rate of firing, causing perceptual consequences such as increased detection threshold for the same stimulus. So to detect the same thing, you need more of that thing. Also, adaptation includes the reduction of perceived intensity for the same stimulus. It's like walking out of a cinema and seeing the sun. At first, you become unaccustomed to it, like it's a bright world outside. But then eventually, in a few minutes, you'll get used to it, and it'll be like as if nothing happened. The perceived properties of other similar stimuli can appear biased as a result. And yeah, so that's adaptation.